I'm frustrated, and the reason I feel this way is because I really wish I'd learned this earlier in life. You see, I'm a neuroscientist and a lecturer. In neuroscience, I explore the brain and the vast network of nerves stretching through our bodies. And in my role as a lecturer, I guide future healthcare professionals. What I've noticed is that many students, especially those who are older, struggle with learning. But it's not their fault. We're never really taught how to learn, it's just assumed we'll figure it out. One of the most unfortunate things is that learning becomes more difficult as we get older. But what if I told you that there are proven strategies to help you learn more quickly and more effectively? I want to share with you the neuroscience behind 6 essential factors that boost learning: attention, alertness, sleep, repetition, breaks, and mistakes. Let's begin with the basics. How does learning actually happen? It all comes down to neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and change based on experience. Whether you're acquiring new knowledge or developing a skill, tiny structures called synapses connect neighboring neurons in the brain. And the more we engage in that task or review that information, the stronger those connections become, making it easier and faster to perform that task again. In fact, you're looking at footage I took of 2 neurons forming a connection in a petri dish, cells I was about to throw out, until I noticed what was happening. Those hand-like structures? They're called growth cones. Every neuron has one, and they help the brain's 86 billion neurons locate the right places to connect during development. This process doesn't represent learning, it shows how the brain wires itself as we grow. When this wiring doesn't happen correctly, it can result in learning and memory issues. Children absorb information like sponges. They pick up languages, skills, and concepts with minimal exposure. Ever met someone who's naturally gifted and thought they must be born with something special? Well, chances are it's not magic, it's consistent practice, determination, and starting young. Icons like Serena Williams and Baryshnikov didn't just wake up with talent, they started honing their craft by the age of 5. The truth is, our capacity to learn peaks early. It declines steadily during childhood and adolescence, and after our mid-20s, learning becomes exponentially more difficult. But here's the good news, you can still learn faster and more efficiently by working with the brain, not against it. That's where attention, alertness, sleep, repetition, breaks, and mistakes come in. Let's talk attention. To learn effectively, you have to be truly focused. For example, if I asked you to close your eyes and notice how your feet feel against the floor, you'd suddenly become aware of sensations you weren't even thinking about a moment ago. That's attention, and it's something we can control. Research shows that when we're fully engaged in a task, we're far more likely to retain information, especially over time. But modern life bombards us with distractions, making it harder than ever to focus. How often do you find yourself rereading a sentence or rewinding a video because your mind wandered? Our brains are wired to focus on one thing at a time. Constantly switching contexts, like scrolling through social media with its endless stream of unrelated content, can lead to noticeable declines in our attention spans. This doesn't cause ADHD, but studies have found that using a smartphone for more than an hour a day can produce measurable attention deficits, especially in teenagers. Reducing phone use can help. To boost focus in the short term, exercise is remarkably effective. I know you've heard it before: exercise and eat well, but stick with me. Physical activity actually increases the size of the part of your brain involved in memory and learning, and helps generate new brain cells. Even 20 minutes of moderate activity can sharpen your attention for the next 2 hours. A quick jog, a set of star jumps, or anything that challenges your balance will do the trick. Now, alertness. It sounds obvious, you need to be alert to learn. But there's more to it. Activating your body's fight or flight system, also known as the sympathetic nervous system, releases adrenaline and other chemicals that boost alertness. Aside from exercise, you can try breathing methods like the Wim Hof technique or end your shower with a burst of cold water. Small stressors can actually enhance your learning, but only in moderation. Chronic stress, on the other hand, physically alters the brain and impairs memory and cognition. So while a little pressure can push you to perform, too much can be harmful. Be kind to yourself. Caffeine is another tool. Drinking coffee before studying, or simply being a regular coffee drinker, can improve learning and memory via several mechanisms in the brain. Conversely, eating a large meal reduces alertness, so avoid studying right after one. Your alertness also fluctuates naturally throughout the day. Every 90 minutes or so, your brain cycles in and out of peak alertness. You can't be 100% alert all the time, so plan your study sessions during those high-focus windows if you can. Sleep plays a vital role, too. Besides restoring your immune system, metabolism, and emotional balance, sleep clears brain waste and is essential for memory consolidation, transforming short-term memories into long-term ones. The hippocampus, a key memory structure, works like a daily diary. But without sleep, those new memories never get properly stored. That's why pulling an all-nighter to cram is one of the worst things you can do. Instead, prioritize sleep both before and after learning to solidify what you've studied. Now let's talk about repetition. You can't expect to master something by doing it once. Repeating a task reinforces the neural pathways involved, making recall easier. But it's a big investment for the brain. It takes a lot of energy and resources, so your brain needs to be convinced it's worth it. Repetition signals to the brain, this is important. And spacing out your learning over time, known as spaced repetition, has been shown to be far more effective than cramming. Sometimes, learning happens instantly. This is called one-trial learning, and it usually involves strong emotions, especially fear. It's your brain's way of remembering vital survival information. Breaks are crucial, too. They give your brain time to subconsciously replay and strengthen what you've learned. Even a 10-second pause can help. Better still is taking 10 to 20 minutes for a quiet break, a nap, or non-sleep deep rest. Right after learning, your memory is fragile. If you rush into learning something else, you can override it, a phenomenon known as retroactive interference. This effect is more pronounced in adults, whose memories may stay unstable for over an hour. So, after a study session, take a proper break or switch to a routine task. Ideally, wait a day before tackling something similar. Finally, mistakes. Yes, they're uncomfortable. But biologically, they serve a purpose. That anxious feeling you get after making a mistake triggers chemicals in the brain that boost focus and open a window for neuroplasticity, making your brain more ready to adapt and improve. Avoiding mistakes means missing out on this powerful learning opportunity. Instead, create situations where small failures are likely. Quiz yourself even before you feel ready. Make tasks harder on purpose to push your limits. Mistakes followed by correction lead to stronger learning. And when you succeed, you get a dopamine reward, reinforcing the behavior. That's why turning learning into a game can be so powerful. It keeps your brain engaged and motivated, whether you fail or succeed. So, I'm no longer angry, just passionate. Because now that you understand how your brain works, you have the tools to unlock your potential. Those tools are attention, alertness, sleep, repetition, breaks, and mistakes. So next time you sit down to learn, clear distractions, focus your attention, raise your alertness, maybe with some movement, repeat the material over several days, prioritize sleep, take breaks, and embrace your mistakes. Your brain will thank you. And now, so do I. Thank you for your attention. I hope you learned something new.